Good evening, Eagles fans, and welcome to another electrifying edition of your go-to NFL news report, coming to you live from the heart of Philadelphia, where the spirit of "Fly Eagles Fly" echoes through the streets. I'm your host, and tonight, we're diving deep into a bold prediction that's got the city of brotherly love buzzing, and not in a good way. Are you ready to unpack the drama surrounding our very own Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles? Let's kick things off with a question. Can our star quarterback silence the doubters in Week 5, or will the critics have the last word? Buckle up, because we've got a lot to cover. Let's start with the big story shaking up Eagles Nation. Last week, the Eagles clawed their way to a gritty 31-25 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but it wasn't the clean, highlight reel win fans were hoping for. All eyes were on Jalen Hurts, who lit up the first half, completing an incredible 15 of 16 passes. That's right, near perfection. But then, the second half. A complete blackout in the passing game. 0 completions. Zilch. Nada. Despite leading the team to the win, Hurts' performance left fans and analysts scratching their heads, wondering what's going on with Philly's aerial attack. And to top it all off, A.J. Brown, our star wide receiver, dropped a cryptic tweet that's got everyone talking. More on that in a bit. But first, let's break down what happened and what it means for the Eagles as they gear up for a showdown against the Denver Broncos. Now, let's set the stage. The Eagles are 3-1 heading into Week 5, sitting pretty in the NFC East, a division where rivalries with the Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders burn hotter than a Philly cheesesteak fresh off the grill. This team has a storied history. Think back to that magical 2017 Super Bowl run, when Nick Foles and company brought home the Lombardi Trophy, sending Lincoln Financial Field into a frenzy. Fast forward to today, and the Eagles are led by Jalen Hurts, a dual-threat quarterback who's been a fan favorite since his days at Alabama and Oklahoma. Hurts has shown flashes of brilliance, with a rocket arm and legs that make defenders look like they're running in slow motion. But last week's game against Tampa Bay raised some eyebrows. After that red-hot first half, the passing game went colder than a January night in Philly. Hurts couldn't connect with A.J. Brown, who managed just 2 catches on 9 targets for a measly 7 yards. Ouch. Fans were quick to point fingers at offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, questioning his play calling. Was it the scheme? Was it Hurts missing his reads? Or was Brown just not on the same page? The truth, as always, is probably a mix of all three. Let's dive deeper into this bold prediction that's got Eagles fans riled up. Ryan Heckman from NFL Spin Zone dropped a bombshell, predicting that in Sunday's matchup against the Denver Broncos, neither Hurts nor rookie Broncos quarterback Bo Nix will throw a single touchdown pass. Instead, Heckman says both QBs will lean on their legs, combining for 4 rushing touchdowns. That's a spicy take. For Hurts, who's already racked up 4 rushing scores this season, thanks in part to the Eagles' unstoppable tush-push play, this prediction plays to his strengths. If you're new to the game, the tush-push is Philly's signature goal line play, where Hurts and the offensive line, led by future Hall of Famer Jason Kelce, bulldoze their way into the end zone. It's like watching a human tank plow through a paper wall. But the idea that Hurts won't throw a touchdown? That's a tough pill to swallow for a fanbase that's dreaming of another deep playoff run. To understand why this prediction stings, let's look at the numbers. Hurts is averaging just 152 passing yards per game this season. That's not exactly lighting up the stat sheet. He's thrown for over 200 yards only once, but here's the silver lining. He's got 5 touchdown passes and, crucially, 0 turnovers. That's right, Hurts is protecting the ball like it's the last cheesesteak at Pat's. Compare that to Bo Nix, the Broncos' first-round pick, who's been more of a game manager than a dual-threat dynamo. Nix hasn't lived up to the rushing hype some expected, and Denver's passing game is just as shaky as Philly's. Both teams have middle-of-the-pack pass defenses, so you'd think this could be a breakout game for Hurts to air it out to Brown or Devonta Smith, the Eagles' other star receiver. But Heckman's betting on the ground game stealing the show. Is he onto something, or is this just clickbait for the critics? Let's talk about A.J. Brown for a moment, because he's been the talk of the town. Brown, who came to Philly in a blockbuster trade in 2022, is a physical specimen. 6 feet 1 inch, 226 pounds, with speed and hands that make defensive backs lose sleep. He's the kind of player who can turn a 5-yard slant into a 50-yard touchdown. But against Tampa Bay, he and Hurts just couldn't sync up. 2 catches for 7 yards. That's not the A.J. Brown we know. And then there's that cryptic tweet. Nobody knows exactly what it meant, but it's got fans speculating about tension in the locker room. Imagine this, a fictional sideline exchange where Brown pulls Hurts aside and says, "Man, just trust me deep, I'll make the play." Meanwhile, Hurts, cool as ever, responds, "We got this, AJ. Next game, we're lighting it up." That's the kind of leadership Philly fans love about Hurts. He's never rattled, always focused. But the question remains, can he and Brown get back on the same wavelength? Now, let's zoom out for some historical context. The Eagles have always been a team built on grit and passion, from the days of Reggie White sacking quarterbacks to Brian Donovan McNabb leading the team to 5 NFC championship games. Jalen Hurts fits right into that legacy. Since taking over as the starter in 2020, he's led the Eagles to the playoffs twice, including a Super Bowl appearance in 2022, where they fell just short against the Chiefs. That game still stings for Eagles fans, who belted out "Sweet Caroline" at Lincoln Financial Field, hoping for another championship. Hurts' dual-threat ability is what makes him special. Last season, he threw for 3,858 yards and 23 touchdowns while rushing for 605 yards and 15 scores. Those are MVP-caliber numbers. But this season, the passing game hasn't clicked yet. Is it a scheme issue? Are defenses keying in on Brown and Smith? Or is Hurts pressing too hard? One thing's for sure, Philly's fanbase, known for its intensity and for throwing snowballs at Santa back in '68, yep, that's a true story, won't stay patient for long. Let's bring in a fictional expert to weigh in. Picture Dr. James Andrews, a renowned sports analyst with a Philly accent as thick as a hoagie roll. "Look, the Eagles' passing game ain't broken, it's just misfiring," Dr. Andrews tells us. Hurts is a stud, but Patullo's gotta mix up the play calling. More play action, more quick slants to Brown and Smith. And don't sleep on Dallas Goedert, that tight end's a mismatch waiting to happen. If they can stretch the field, this offense will be unstoppable. Dr. Andrews has a point. Goedert, a 6 feet 5 inches target with soft hands, could be the X-factor against Denver's linebackers. And don't forget about Saquon Barkley, the former Giant star who's now Philly's lead running back. Barkley's explosive speed could open up the passing lanes if defenses stack the box to stop him. So, what's the tactical breakdown for Sunday's game? The Broncos, led by coach Sean Payton, are a tough nut to crack. Their defense, anchored by cornerback Pat Surtain II, one of the league's best, will likely focus on shutting down Brown. That could leave opportunities for Devonta Smith, the 2020 Heisman winner who's nicknamed the Slim Reaper for his lean frame and deadly route running. If Hurts can exploit single coverage on Smith, we might see a big play early. On the flip side, Denver's offense isn't exactly setting the world on fire. Bo Nix is still finding his footing, and their receiving core lacks a true game-changer. The Eagles' defensive line, led by Haason Reddick and Josh Sweat, could feast on Nix if they bring pressure. Fun fact, Philly's defense has recorded 12 sacks this season, second in the NFC East behind only the Cowboys. That's the kind of heat that could make Nix's day miserable. Let's talk pop culture for a second. The Eagles are more than a team, they're a Philly institution, like Rocky Balboa running up the Art Museum steps. The "Fly Eagles Fly" chant is a rallying cry that unites fans from South Philly to the suburbs. And with the team's recent success, they've popped up everywhere, from Lil Dicky's rap lyrics to cameos in Philly-based shows like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But with great fame comes great scrutiny. Hurts, at just 27, is under the microscope. Social media is ablaze with hot takes, and that cryptic A.J. Brown tweet didn't help. Was it shade at Hurts? A jab at the coaches? Or just Brown being Brown? One thing's clear, a big performance against Denver could quiet the noise. So, what's the prediction for Sunday? I'm going against Heckman's bold take. Call me an optimist, but I think Hurts throws at least one touchdown. Maybe a deep bomb to Brown to remind everyone what this offense can do. Add in a tush-push score for good measure, and the Eagles could roll to a 27-17 win. A victory would move them to 4-1, keeping them atop the NFC East and silencing the doubters, at least for a week. But if the passing game stalls again, the critics will be louder than a tailgate at the Link. The stakes are high, and the implications are huge. A strong showing could propel Philly toward another playoff run, while a stumble might fuel trade rumors or calls for a new offensive coordinator. Before we wrap up, let's sprinkle in some Eagles trivia. Did you know the team's iconic green jerseys were inspired by the Kelly Green of Notre Dame's Fighting Irish? Or that Lincoln Financial Field, opened in 2003, was built to maximize crowd noise, making it one of the toughest venues for opponents? And let's not forget the 1960 NFL Championship, Philly's last title before 2017, when Norm Van Brocklin and Chuck Bednarik led the Eagles past the Packers. That's the kind of history that fuels this fanbase's passion. Alright, Eagles fans, it's time to get hyped. Sunday's game against the Broncos is a chance for Jalen Hurts to show the world he's more than a rushing quarterback. Will he connect with A.J. Brown for a highlight reel touchdown? Will the tush-push make Denver's defense look silly? Tune in to find out, and join us next week for all the highlights, analysis, and more. Whether you're tailgating at the link or cheering from your couch, let's hear it one time. Fly, Eagles, fly. Until next time, stay passionate, Philly.